Hi there folks, my name's NovaWing24 and welcome to a little review of a truly cross-simulator product. So today we're going to be having a look at FS Flight Control. So FS Flight Control is it's a piece of software designed primarily as a sort of like an instructor tool, but is, in my opinion, a lot more powerful than that. Like, it's an incredibly powerful tool, and it's got a lot of really cool features in it that it really appeal to a wide range of virtual pilots. So, now, so I do want to say, first of all, I want to say thank you very much to the developers of Flight Control for the review copy of this. Now, I'll be honest, I've actually had this title now for close on a year, but it's really only probably been in the last probably 3 to 4 months where I've really actually sort of begun to think that this product is actually really reaching a potential and reaching a quality that I really want to share with you guys, because I think it's actually now getting to the point where it is definitely something that is worth you guys looking at, and I wanted to share it with you. So, what is FS Flight Control? Okay, so it's pitched and marketed as a operator instructor station for managing flight simulators. Now, that seems like something. Well, why would I want that for my home, my personal flight simulation experience? Well, because it gives you a lot of stuff, and there is a lot of things that it does here that actually really will work towards you, will help you, and will actually benefit you as a pilot if you are sort of training. Now, I'm going to go through a few things. It's going to be a fairly detailed, in-depth look. We're going to do a couple of things as well. We're going to be looking at quite a different stuff. Hopefully, we'll get to see some of the analysis tools in here as well. Alright, let's start with the main view. So this is the main view. So this main view is probably going to be something that's not really sort of overly unsurprising to people. So it is a view that is, locked to you. That you can have it locked to your aircraft, or you can have it so you can have it. You can not have it so you can free roam around. Basically, it's the sort of view that we're used to around the world, kind of thing. So you can do that. Now you've got various. You can either have the standard, just sort of like this, sort of like land is black and sea is blue kind of look, or you can actually go through and actually have a sort of terrain and various sort of satellite maps. So you can have the OpenStreetMap. You can have an OpenStreetMap that actually downloads and loads into here. You can have an actual satellite map, which links in and gives you all the satellite overlays, or you can have a height map built through. Now, interestingly enough, the height map is built from your simulator, so it's your simulator heights, which is even more interesting as well. That's kind of cool. Now, over here, so this is probably going to be very, very similar to anybody who's used something like Plan G before. It's got very, very similar tools that you might be used to already and that kind of stuff. So we're just going to zoom in here for a second. Okay, so it also gives you a lot of extra tools along here on the side here as well. So you can actually sort of show your ILS feathers for your runways. You can show different markers. You can actually show different like taxiways. You can actually have different. You can show where the parking areas are for each of the airports. I'm going to switch that one back to the satellite map, I think. The overlay is like really, really good. It refreshes quite quickly as well. And it feeds, as I said, it connects to your sim and provides a feed of data coming through here. You actually see all your AI traffic actually working through here. Now, the other cool, interesting thing as well is that you can actually hover your mouse over the AI traffic and see where it's going to go. It'll actually sort of say, yep, it's going a flight plan off to wherever. Like, that's kind of cool and kind of interesting. You can add on here, you can actually go into, you can add the VOR DME markers, and complete with all their information. NDBs, same thing as well. Airspace markers as well, so you can actually, so if you are looking at sort of knowing what airspace you're going to be traveling through, you can see the different boundaries of the different classes of airspace, including their names as well, which is always not very useful. You add in your airways, high, low, again, named, if you want, just one of the locations, and you can also put in waypoints as well. So there's a lot of customization, there's a lot of detail you can actually add in here. and view as well. Now, the other interesting thing and cool part about this as well is this does come with an updated air arc cycle. So it does come with an air arc cycle that's supplied by Aerosoft. So it's not a current one, but it is a more recent one that's included with FSX. So, which can be good and can be bad, and we'll get to that in a moment as we move forward. But it is also flexible. It can be updated with updated air arcs. So if you are using programs that give you updated air arc cycles as part of your experience, then you know what, you will be able to make use of that. This program will make use of that, which is really, really cool. So as I said, the base here is pretty straightforward. There's nothing really sort of that we haven't seen before in the likes of something like Plan G. You've got your AI tracking information through here. As I said, hover your mouse over it, you can see where it's heading off to. You know, where it's heading off to. You've got up the top here, you've got the wind and direction and your pressure information. Again, just a few more customization options over here as well, including putting a compass rose on there, which is interesting. It centers on your aircraft, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that gets included in this view, and a very customizable view. All right, so that's the view. We're all familiar with that. So why is this software any different? Okay, this software is different basically because of this page. So in various different, there are various different add-ons out there that can do this kind of stuff, but you can actually go through the actual set different runways, you can set different airports, and you can actually do a lot of your training for your departure and arrivals. So it is, as I said, it has the SIDS and stars loaded in it based on an air arc cycle. So we're going to have a look. For example, we're going to be doing a flight today as part of this test. We're going to be flying over to Kona International, Kaleo Kona in Hawaii. Now, one of the things I can do is I can actually go through and I can see all the. So we're going to be doing a PHNL departure. So put the there you go. Okay, so first thing is it going to list all the different runways that are available to me, and lets me know if so W will give me if they're a water runway. It'll also give me information if there's an ILS on there. Now, if I click on a runway, it'll give me the length, it'll give me the altitude, the heading, the true heading of the magnetic heading of the runway, and it'll give me the ILS frequency. Now, here's the cool part that this can do. So I can actually go through, I want to do some approach training for a specific runway. So I want to do an approach training, let's say for example, I want to do an approach training PHNL on 26 left. So I can actually select, do I want my aircraft to be repositioned to be on downwind left, vectors left, base left, 8 mile final, 3 mile final, or do I want to be sitting on the runway ready for takeoff? I can set all this up from here. Just simple clicks and bang, my aircraft will be moved and transported to that. How it will be set up is you sit down the bottom here. So it'll actually go, will be how fast will I be going, what position will my gear be in, will my gear be up or will it be down, what pitch trim will it be on, what flaps setting will I be set at, the heading, course, ILS frequency, will they be set into my aircraft already? As I said, this is all SimConnect driven, so it'll actually input all this stuff into your aircraft. So it's such a powerful tool. It's a very simple tool, but it's a very powerful tool. Now, the other thing that you can do as well, if you do want to do things like SIDS and stars, is you can actually go through, okay, so I want to practice a star for this for 26 left. So you can actually go through and see all the stars that are available for this airfield, for that runway, and you can select which one you want to do. So for example, if we wanted to do the Reef 4 one, we can select that, and then we can select which waypoint in that star we want the aircraft to be placed at. So this is how powerful this can be. You can have all these things set. You just click, bang, done. So we want to set up the bamboo one, and there you go, move aircraft to waypoint, and your aircraft will be moved there. So very powerful training tool. This really is. It's very much for people who want to do if you want to practice that. But you don't have to use SIDS and stars if you don't want to. You can just do approach transitions, or just a final approach, or as I said, just the straight approach training based on a visual. So this is actually why I like this software, and I think that offers the advantage over some of the others for a training, is the fact that you can do this. This doesn't require you to actually be wanting to do tube liners and stuff like that. You don't have to use SIDS and stars if you don't want to. You can just do straight approach training. Now you also have Airworks as well, so you can also set yourself, if you just want to be simply set yourself a location at a flight level, or you can actually drive a custom location. So you can do custom altitude, heading, or you can go choose the runway. You can go, yeah, you want to go so many angle degrees from the runway landing point, so many nautical miles away, or just a straight latitude, longitude. So there's as I said, incredible amount of actual detail and options available for you to actually set up to doing approach training. So very powerful tool, as we can see already. Now, the other thing that's really good as well, and probably good for somebody like me who doesn't use Seas and Stars a lot, this is where it can be a good way to introduce yourself into it. Now, I'm just going to quickly clear this flight plan, so we can rebuild it for you. So this is again one of the features that's been updated fairly recently that I really like about it. So what we can do, we're going to set, so we're going to be doing, as I said, we're going to be doing a flight today. We're going to be doing from PHNL, so we're going to Honolulu, and we're heading over to Kona. So what we do is you go set your departure airport. So we go PHNL, and we're going to be using a left for our departure today. So you can get all your weather information, get everything ready, just like you would in an actual flight. And you can do all this sitting in the cockpit. You then go set the arrival airport. So we're going to be doing PHKO. Now we're going to be landing on 17 today. So straight away, it's already got the departure and arrivals. Because it's all done, as sort of estimated for the how far it is. Now this is the next and really cool part. So do you want to use Seas and Stars? So I go yes. Do you want to use high or low airways, or both? And go, yep, we'll do both. Now, you just go calculate airway route. So it goes, okay, so which departure do you want to use? So you know what, I want to use the Hauna departure today. So I click that one. Which star procedure do you want to use? Now I want to use the Kayak 5. I'll do it from Fires. And I go, okay. And bang, it automatically generates everything for you. Now this was an issue I had previously with it, is that it was trying to link the Seas and Stars together were actually a bit of an issue. But here it's been improved recently, and it's just absolutely so simple, so easy. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Now, because one of the things I have trouble with FMCs. I really do. For me, for someone who is not a huge fan but wants to still maybe sort of start getting into that, this is where this can be really good. So, what do I do with this plan now that I've got it? So, it's so simple to then get it out of here and into something that you can actually use. So you've got a couple of options that you can do. So the first thing you need to do is we go export. So what you can actually do is you can save it as it, so save it as a PLM file, or save it as a X-plane readable flight plan, so even better. So as I said, this at the moment is fully linked in, fully compatible with Microsoft, with FSX, FSX Steam Edition, Prepared 3D versions 1 through 4. It's just been updated to run through version 4 as well, and Dovetail Games Flight Sim World. So this is hugely compatible. They've also just starting to integrate X-Plane 11 integration as well. At the moment, it only supports exporting to X-Plane flight plans. However, they are aiming for a full integration with X-Plane before the end of the year. As I said, this is a true multi-sim platform that's just absolutely stunning. It really is. Like, this is just amazing, the detail. Alright, as I was saying, you can export to a standard flight plan, or you can actually just load directly into the aircraft. So I'm actually already connected to Prepared at the moment. So we're going to go load directly, and it goes sent to simulator. And if I have a quick look at my here, and let me just see if I can bring this up for a second. There we go. I don't know if you should be able to see that there. So you can see that entire plan is now already loaded directly into my flight navigation for my PC24. As I said, like, this is so simple. It's such an elegant, simple program to actually do what it does, and it does it. In my opinion, it does it really, really, really well. All right, couple of other things that you can see here as well. So these are things that perhaps that I don't really use because I don't have these add-ons. But for those of you who are TubeLiner fans, this is going to be really good for you. This is fully compatible with ProSim flight management system. So if you have the third-party ProSim device, it will export directly to that. It'll also directly to the Flight Sim Labs A320. It'll export directly to the Aerosoft Airbus company system as well, so you can do it as a company route, and the Welco Airbus company route. So it's fully compatible with so many add-ons. Like the compatibility these guys are striving for is just outstanding. It really is. It's just stunning. So yeah, this is the kind of powerful tools. All right, now as I said before, this is it is primarily designed as an instructor station, so you can do a lot of other things here. But these sort of initial highlights, I'm showing what is good for us as end users, as simulator pilots. Now, if you do want to do sort of other simulator things as well, there are some other great tools that you have as well. So we're going to go down through the bottom here, some of the rest of it. So conditions. So the first thing is conditions now. Now the conditions now. This is will read or integrate with Active Sky Next as well. So it will be able to. So it can read the full metars, not just of the default and whatever's loaded in, but also will load in and recognize anything transmitted to it from Active Sky Next. So this you can see at the moment, it'll actually show you the current weather. So it goes a full meter with all the different winds aloft and temperature layers. The detail is amazing. Go through different weather modes. So for example, it shows that it's connected to the Active Sky weather engine, running its real-time weather at the moment. Weather effects, so anything that actually comes through, you can actually sort of modify stuff from some of the things from Active Sky as well and see what it's doing. You can actually force custom weather as well, so if you actually want to simulate doing approaches, you can actually force weather. You can actually create a custom weather, type in your own meter, send it to the system, set ILS visibilities if you want as well. It's just incredible the amount of sort of detail that you can actually go through and customize here. So if you didn't want to connect to Active Sky Next, you don't have to, but you can actually then control the weather through here as well to actually do a lot of stuff. Interesting, you see the little frame rate calculators down here, sim times information down the bottom there as well, simulation rate down there as well. All good. All right, what else we got? So we also got pushback information. So you can actually sort of set your aircraft pushing back. So you can go what angle to have, and your parking brake does need to be off to do this as well, and you can actually sort of set your pushback going, so how far you want it to go straight, excuse me, and then how far to turn and how far to go straight after the turn. It's just, yeah, it's a lot of detail into this one. Okay, fuel, so you can actually see your current fuel in the aircraft. You can adjust the fuel as well as you need to, adjust your weight of the payload of the aircraft as well. You can control your own views as well, so if you don't have a view system for your sim such as Chase Plane or EasyDock, and you just want to be able to modify some of the views, you can actually do this through here. So it's sort of like a poor man's camera tool, where you can actually sort of manipulate the camera controls based on sort of like the Sim Connect command, so you can actually do it yourself and integrate it through here. Something really interesting and probably useful at the moment in Flight Sim World, because we don't really have any other camera utilities at the moment. This is the one that's going to be really useful for you for that. Failures, of course, you can do a full simulated set of failures as well. You can arm failures, you can trigger them to fail instantly or over time. Again, this is where the instructor sort of information comes through as well, so you can control fuel leaks, what sort of failures that go through, any kind of panels information, random failures, what you want to go through. As I said, there's a lot here. There is an absolute lot in here now. As I said, most of this is because this is based as an instructor station and for training. This is where this could be very useful for you. And if you do want to simulate some emergency procedures, you may be looking at doing some of these. Alright, aircraft. This is where it integrates some of the stuff that you might also be familiar with if you're doing something like, if you've used something before like an expanded version of FSU IPC or some panels and things like that. You can actually it pulls real-time information from the aircraft, as well as then you can actually manipulate some of the information about the switches. You can actually sort of check things and manipulate them as if you were in the cockpit as well. So if you wanted to sort of like check to see, especially some aircraft, maybe some older aircraft that don't have clear panels, or if you want to make sure that what your procedures you're doing in the cockpit are correct to have the correct outcome, you can actually check through here as well. And again, a good way, again, sort of feeds into the instructor side of things and the training side of things, where you can check, okay, so my procedure in the cockpit was to do this, and then you can look over here on your flight control panel, you can actually see, was I actually successful, did I get it right? No, again, this is where the extra value and the extra layer of training can really come in and really benefit all of us simulator pilots as we're sort of growing and learning in our skills. Goes through again a few more switches, so we've got various. Better remember to put my pitot heat on. Oh, that's right, it's PC24, it's an automatic pitot, doesn't actually turn on there. There you go, never mind. But yeah, go through, you can see what's active, what's not. It'll go red if it fails. Go through the TCAS. Control. Yep, there you go. As I said, a lot of stuff, a lot of powerful in here. Statistics. This is where, for those who are stats driven, this is where it's very interesting. So you can actually get airspeed readouts, and we'll have a look at some of the stuff. You can export print charts. You can export to Google Earth once you're done as well. So it's very interesting for analyzing flights, so you can see how you rated, your descents, your vertical speeds, and that kind of stuff as you're on approach. Very good and very interesting to actually do that through one. So that's this approach stats is when you actually sort of do it as an actual position module that we saw at the start. Network. Now, this is another really cool and really interesting part of this as well, is that this is fully compatible with working across a network, both from another PC and from an Android or iOS tablet or mobile device. So I actually have the mobile app installed on one of my phones, one of my smartphones, and I can actually control most of this stuff from there as well. So it's really simple, really easy to actually set up, or you can put it onto another PC. So if you have another PC that drives a lot of your equipment, such as your panels and your weather engines and stuff, you can put flight control onto that other PC. And so yeah, again, very flexible options, a lot of options there for sim pit builders and for just people who want to distribute their equipment across multiple PCs. This section is for the EB runner. Haven't read a lot of the B runner motion devices. Haven't read up a lot on these, but it's great to see they got support for it. I'm assuming this is like a 6 degrees of freedom sort of like physical seat mover. I'm assuming it's that. Some basic settings about the actual application itself as well, and aircraft related. So you can actually sort of do a lot of different profiles for aircraft and actually sort of how they're set up, and you can sort of adjust various different positions on how, when you do a position to short final, long final, glide slope offsets, when you're moving the aircraft through the slew and the other settings. Map colors, I'm not going to go through these too much, but as I said, there is a lot of interfacing with other equipment, including ProSim, AST, and GHL options, as well as Project Magenta. There is a lot of stuff this goes through. Basic things that we go through here as well, as I said, connecting through Active Sky. As I said, these are all the third-party stuff that you can connect to. A lot of stuff, as I said. Oh God, I could take a breath for a moment. You can also print out your things, your flight plans and that kind of stuff as well as saving them. How you set the refresh rates for the maps and position for the aircraft. So a lot of settings and controls there. You can freeze everything which you want to freeze in the actual sim, and you can force a pause in the sim as well. And last but not least, a quick little thing where you can actually get some feedback back to developers. And the other thing that I love is that it is a very active development community of flight control. So it's very active, and it does take on a lot of the actual feedback that you see from that the users offer. So it's great to see. So that is FS Flight Control, and how it looks, how it works, and how it integrates. Now, as we saw before, so we created the flight plan. That flight plan's now sort of like appeared in our map. So it actually shows me. So it shows me the airway that we're going to be flying. We're going to be flying V20 before doing our approach, turning into approach, and coming into Kona International. So there you go, and we see all our AI traffic through there. So, do I think this is pretty awesome? Look, as I said, I think this software is pretty awesome. Even for somebody like myself who doesn't necessarily do a lot of tube liner stuff, there's a lot in here for me as well. The fact that it can do a lot of stuff for the GA side of things, and could be really helpful with approach training, and sort of moving your aircraft around is really, really good, and getting your aircraft set up for it to do some approach training is really good. I also really like the way it integrates into things like the FMC databases and giving you an introduction where it takes a lot more of a teaching methodology into actually sort of teaching, getting you more comfortable with the idea of doing these things. Actually as part of FMCs, and getting used to using airways and stuff like that. So for somebody who, like me, doesn't use like VATSIM or IVAO a lot, this is a good way to sort of like get yourself an introduction into it, and actually becoming a bit more comfortable with it and that kind of stuff. As I said, it does integrate with AirAct cycles if you do have the subscription to have those. Otherwise, it does come with an updated AirAct cycle. Now, unfortunately, that sometimes pose a problem with airways and stuff like that, because obviously the database that's in FSX isn't always the most up to date, which means FSX and P3D and Flight Simulator isn't always the most up to date, which means that sometimes it can throw you a random point which can be a really long way out of your way. You just have to skip that point manually in your aircraft, so just keep an eye on that. So there you go. But otherwise, overall, a good, solid, really active development, training, and instructor tool that I really just think that it, as I said, I've had it for a year, but it's only been in the last four months or so where it's really got to a point now where it is just absolutely outstanding and really delivering an absolutely amazing experience for you guys. So I just wanted to show it off. If you are going to, by the way, guys, the developer will be at Flight SimCon, so if you do want to check it out and check out a demo, I highly encourage that you do. In the meantime, now we're going to skip this flight, skip to a little bit later on, where we're going to see if we can catch me on approach, and we'll see we can see some of the recorded details of me on approach. Okay, so yeah, there you go. So that was a simple, quick flight using that. So you could see that that we could actually track everything through here. And as I was saying, you can do all the stats as well, so we can stop the recording here. And then you can actually sort of go back, you can actually replay all the data, you can see all the vertical speeds, so you can see that sort of, I wasn't doing the best on the approach, and you can get all this data, and you can actually export the data as a CSV, so you can actually get a lot of information about sort of, how your flying was, so, and how stable you were. So it's a very interesting amount of data that can be produced in here, and you can actually sort of see everything and get everything, sort of go through and actually see how your landings are and actually see how your flight was. So there's a lot of very interesting stuff and a lot of data in here that can actually give you a lot of interesting information, and it's a very good learning tool as well. So there you go. Alright folks, so as I said, this has been my little look at FS Flight Control. As I said, I think this is a really cool piece of software. It's, as I said, I think it's really only come into its own in the last few months, so I think now is a really good time for you to have a look at getting it. And there's a lot of great, interesting little interfaces here. It is designed for touchscreen, so it works perfectly and works really, really well using an Android or an iOS tablets that you can actually sort of interface it with as well. And yeah, overall, just a really good, solid piece of kit. It really is really interesting. So yes, this is available over at fs-flightcontrol.com. I'll put all the links in the description down below. I do want to say thank you once again to the team at Flight Control for supplying me with a review copy of this one. The great thing is, guys, if you do want to give it a trial, there is a free 14-day full trial as well. So you can give it a go just to see if it is going to be for you or not. And as I said, the best thing is fully compatible with all of the platforms, all the ESP-based platforms. So that's FSX, Prepared 3D versions 1 through 4, and Flight Sim World with full X-Plane support coming soon as well. Alright folks, thanks very much for joining me in this one. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.